Robert Taylor, +4.
To speak to Big Stuart. Hey!
Oh.
Hi, Stuart.
2007, I was stabbed 7 times in the one sitting. And I also sustained a gunshot in 2008. And I think since then I just buried it all. You know, like the male ego thing, like I can handle this, but obviously I couldn't. I was getting involved in things that could have got me a lot of time, and I didn't care about my partner at the time. I didn't care about my family. I didn't care about any of my kids. It was just me.
No, I think it's a kind of West of Scotland type thing as well. Do you know that thing of just like, no, I'm fine, and then just eventually everything just blows up, doesn't it? If you just keep blocking things out and shutting up all the time, eventually that will come out in some way, and obviously it's come out in the kind of post-traumatic stress kind of thing.
I had a lot of triggers and I didn't realise it. My triggers was loud noises and being about a lot of people when like, a lot of things were happening all at the one time.
You're a lot more settled in this hall though, aren't you?
A lot more settled, aye. Well, I just moved in here 5-6 weeks ago. A lot of guys are doing heavy sentences and they just want to keep their head down and go on with it, and there's lots of guys in this hall that would rather help you than looking for a way to get something off you.
How long have you been here for?
I've been here from the start, from it opened. A long
In the
time
mental
ago.
days?
Aye, in the mad days, aye. Aye, that was the mad days, but I'm in a better place now than I was before, but certainly, that's 12 years nearly, I've been, well 11 I've been in, but it's a long time, do you know what I mean? So you start getting a wee bit anxious and things about going out, and there's a lot kind of today, do you know what I mean? There's still a long time to go to you kind of move on to like castle and things like that. There's so many people in the prison system that are kind of products of the system in a way, where they've been brought up right through for the YOs right through, and they don't know any different. They've never been shown any other life. They've never been shown the good side of life.
What's positive things that have happened to you? Because obviously you've got a degree.
Aye.
Been in here.
Obviously, there's a lot of things like, obviously my girlfriend and my family and things like that. You get a strong bond with them. Do you know what I mean? Because everybody's supporting me and things like that.
Would you think it's been you've got a stronger bond for being in here?
In a
Have
lot of
you
ways.
had to work harder for it, or?
In some ways, Keira, aye, but in a lot of ways, like, obviously I couldn't have done this with Fiona and my ma and dad and things like that, do you know what I mean? They've just been so good for me in that way, do you know what I mean? And we've built up, but in a lot of ways, I hate saying this, do you know what I mean? But I don't really like know my brother or know my sister, and obviously I've not been able to kind of grow up with them or nothing, so a lot of the things I don't know about them, do you know what I mean? Like my wee brother's getting married and there's nothing I can do, do you know what I mean? And I can't go to it and things like that, and it's hard, do you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff, that side, it's really hard.
In the last few weeks, you've kind of went through a recent diagnosis, haven't you?
Aye, I got diagnosed with ADHD, so shortly after sort of starting work with you, I'd been put in to see the mental health team in here,
And it's just because I'm just constant, do you know what I mean? Manic, can't slow down. Constant on the go. I'm like that outside as well, do you know what I mean? So I need to be doing something all the time. Because I'd got took to an assessment when I was younger, but I sort of didn't want the label that gave me it, and I didn't want sort of tarred with any, just any sort of brush, man. Was it at academy, at high school, do you know what I mean? So I just didn't want tarred as something wrong with me, do you know what I mean? So I just lied when I went to the assessment. But when I went to the assessment in here, it made a lot more sense.
So what were the nurses like with you in here then? Were they good when you went to speak to them?
The nurse that's been dealing with it this time has been really good, do you know what I mean? They've been getting us up for regular checks, see how the medication's reacting, see how I'm reacting, is it helping, is there any side effects? So I have to fucking definitely credit when credit's due, man. They've been proper attentive with it.
This isn't your first time in prison, is it, mate? Oh.
Nah, this is I've been in when I was younger, just before my 18th birthday. I got done with a permanent disfigurement, serious assault to permanent disfigurement, so that was for slashing the boy. You got 12 months to 9 months for that. I got out for 6 months. Things were going no bad, and then a mental moment again, like out in the night out, snapped somebody's jaw in the high street. Got 2 years down to 18 months for that. Got out for about another 6-7 months. Got done with extortion, consent to supply and that, but then I ended up getting all that dropped. Pled to just an assault and still got 5 years for it, down to 4 free. And then I've been out for about 14 months and then got this was for a firearm, so I got 4 down to 2-8.
Hey, do you make
25, aye. Aye, so I spent most of my time in here, man.
Have you ever had issues with alcohol or mental health issues, depression, any kind?
Alcohol, aye. I've never been addicted to it, just I don't know where to stop when I do start drinking, like binge drinking. So that's how I landed in here, you know what I mean? It's, any time I drink, I always end up doing something stupid. Unless I'm out with my bird or something, then it'll be drink, get home. But from with my pals, it's drink, then the next day drink. Before I know it, I'm fucking lying in polo cells or fell out with a woman.
How are you going to cope when you're outside again and you've got the temptation to drink?
I keep saying this to my bird in letters, but I don't think I'm that bothered with it now. Last time I was in was 3 or 4 years ago. 4 years ago, aye. And I can remember when I was wanting to get out, I was thinking about was partying and drinking and getting with my pals. But now that's not even in my head. It's just getting out and being with my girlfriend in the rain, spending time. I'm interested in it.
You must have been a real nutter when you were on the outside then.
No, I'm quite a placid, quiet person. I'm just a fucking arsehole on the drugs, but I'm not a violent person. Like my ways, family orientated, always worked. But once that Charlie kind of got a grip of us, everything went out the window.
How rife is addiction inside prison?
Rife.
Really?
A lot of people who are long-term prisoners maybe come in with a habit or an addiction and clean their act up over a couple of years, and then have not got a habit, I suppose, like me, I suppose. But when I was doing inductions up there, you see a lot of people coming in off the street, and the amount of them that are either in through drugs, if they've got a habit, it's in one way or another. It's either drug-related offences like committing crimes to get money for drugs, or selling drugs, or caught with drugs, or dealing. You know, it's all evolves around drugs, but there's a huge percentage in the jail.
What do you think it would be like if you never got this sentence?
Off, man. That's a good question, man. Well, when I was out there, I was drinking a bottle of whiskey every day, you know what I mean? I had gave up myself, I'd gave up my health, I had gave up my everything, you know what I mean? It's like, I wasn't setting goals or nothing, you know what I mean? That's probably an alcoholic now, by the way, you know what I mean? I think so anyway, I think I'd be...
Was drink a problem for you then as well?
Definitely, you know what I mean? It's not always been a problem for me, but the last 3 years, because I had a good life, you know what I mean, and then I lost it all. So I mean, I kind of just went right into depression. I was drinking every day, and I was just rolling about with a couple of guys, and I was stabbed 5 times. You know what I mean, I nearly lost my life. And That was pretty mad, know what I mean? It's like, changed me as a person. It wasn't really the getting started, it's after. Depression and all that comes with it, know what I mean? Because I'd lost all my weight and all that, it's like... So it was a mad time in my life, know what I mean? It shaped me as a person, so...
How did you get yourself into that kind of situation like that?
Just the scheme I stayed in. Just, know what I mean? Just like that's, like... Most people get stuck in the scheme, and that's all their head is. Their head's not gone anywhere out of the boundaries, know what I mean? It's just like... So, even if you're walking to the shop or gone anywhere, know what I mean? You're rolling about with this person and that person. Boys smashed my windows, and then I pulled them up for smashing my windows. But when I pulled them up, I was full of Valium. And when he's kind of said it wasn't me that smashed your windows, and I've done that and turned around to walk away, and he's just scalped us with a bottle of wine in the face, know what I mean? So I've ended up with my head down, and I just grabbed him and was swinging him about, and then he's soaking, stabbed us, know what I mean?
You know that we're making these films about, you know, about life inside, Stu, but also it's about, I mean, principally about, you know, having addictions while inside or having mental health problems. When you were in prison previously, had you started self-harming then?
No, I only started in 2010 when my wee brother died. And then it's just got worse and worse, and then obviously I asked for help after what happened in Shorts in 2014.
What happened in Shorts?
I tried to kill myself. Shut the door up, opened all the razors up. Bang, 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 bang. Know what I mean? Just ripped myself apart. Put us in the suicide cell. Mental health seen us. Said I wasn't suicidal. I just needed help.
Quite early on in my sentence I decided that I'm going to work on myself and find out the reason why I keep coming to jail, because it's no through drink or drugs. I've not got a drink or drugs problem. My views have changed and my personality's changed. I found some faith in here as well. I always believed in Jesus, but I didn't know much about Jesus, and I started going to the prison fellowship, I started going to church, and the more I found...
Why? What made you do that though?
To be honest with you, it was to go up and see somebody.
Really?
Aye, for another haul. That's how it all started. My dad had nothing to do with me growing up. He was there, but he wasn't involved as much. And I never had much of a relationship with him. And when Keith was telling us about God and that, I was like, I wish I had I says to myself, I wish I had a relationship with my father like that. And then over the next few weeks, about over 5 weeks, I just had a tremendous feeling of peace, joy and pure contentment. And I had a feeling that I had a father, you know, that I was in a relationship with my father, that somebody cared for me. It's softened my heart, it's made me more like a big softie.
It's obviously we spent the last few weeks getting to know each other and learning a lot about each other and all that. And one of the things that we learned about you is that you're gay. So that's, I mean, to me, I would think that would be quite a big deal in such a male-dominated environment and stuff. But what's been the reaction?
Aye, it's a big thing in here, man. Definitely under the spotlight. But again, man, just it's about fucking not letting people's opinions bother you. But everybody's been sound with it, man. Everybody's totally fine. It's no the environment you would assume it to be, man. Because a lot of people would assume it to be just fucking day-to-day people would assume it to be a very dangerous place for to come out and say something like that. Do you know what I mean? But it's not the case. A lot of guys in here are very sympathetic, man.
So did you come out in the jail?
I'd sort of like to a couple of pals before I'd got jailed. Yeah, but it was very close knit, man, that knew. Know that anybody should hear a stereotypical view, do you know what I mean? Every person's different, every straight person's different, every gay person's different, do you know what I mean? The staff at the visits would have been taken aback as well, do you know what I mean? Because I wasn't shying away at visits or that either.
Because if people saw two guys kissing in a visit or something like that, they would just automatically think that you were passing something over.
I think that's what they thought, man. I think that's genuinely what folk thought at the start, but due to like a couple of members of staff in the hall already knowing about it, just with conversation, I think it was sort of highlighted like made aware to the staff, do you know what I mean? He had a bit of banter on that way and that as well, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for being able to hear a joke in that way as well.
It was a few weeks ago, wasn't it? One of the boys was like, he was like, how long have you been like that for?
How long have you been like that for?
For years, know what I mean, I always thought like I'm destined to be this, I'm destined to be that, know what I mean? But doing courses and hearing that, it's opened my eyes up to what I could be, know what I mean? What I can do, what anybody can do. It's, know what I mean? It's like.
Do you know what that is yet?
What it be?
Aye.
No, I've decided to become a structural engineer in the long term. But it's going to take me 4 years to become a civil engineer, and then I need to start specialising after that, know what I mean? So my plan is to take my higher maths, my higher English for a year. I'll go out and I'll go to college and I'll do physics for a year, for a higher in physics, and that'll give me my free hires to get into university. And I'll do engineering, civil engineering for that, know what I mean, for the first 4 years, and then I'll have to specialise. So I'm committing the next 10 years, know what I mean? 10 years, it's not a big ask. So you can do anything you want with your life.
Jimmy came into my class about 7 months ago, and he's been exceptionally dedicated to studying the subject. We started off doing the numeracy units, and he's worked his way all the way through high school maths up to higher level. It doesn't work for everyone. For people to get benefit out of education, they really need to have to want to change their behaviour themselves, and I think Jimmy has demonstrated that that's what he's doing.
In many ways it's harder outside, because in this place the responsibility is taken from you. You get fed, you get watered.
It took a while for that to happen. See, like the first 6 months it was torture. Obviously, like, you're missing everything outside, your heat's still out of the wall. Probably all the drugs coming out my system too. I was a bit paranoid and thought everything was talking about me, and it's just weird. You think like the prison officers are on, you're like, I'm never getting out of here, and you think it's a big conspiracy, but that was the paranoia with the drugs. So I got myself, like, I was pretty bad outside with him, and I was due to get sectioned because I'd started using freebase cocaine, and just kind of lost the plot out there then. Thought there was fucking cameras everywhere. I thought I was living in the Truman Show. Now that I've realised that it is quite hard when you get out, started working with like a group called Aid and Abet, and they basically give you like support 7 days a week. They're all like boys that's been in prison, had drug problems, got out and sorted their life out. So I think maybe getting about with folk like that, it's like a positive thing. You can phone them up and say like, I'm really thinking about using, or I've fucked up and I've used. They'll help you, like, Mum will go out hill walk and we'll do this, as in with the support I had before, it was like half an hour a week, and then you're left to fend for yourself. So I think this new thing with Aid and Abet's probably a really good thing for folk like myself, and I'm getting a lot out of it. So hopefully when I get out I'll be able to work with them and just keep myself in the straight and narrow.
It's interesting how, like, I was saying to you the other day how good your memory is.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? You pure remember everything about, like, when you were 16 and that sort of stuff, but you said that's because that was your last memories of being out there in the world, do you know what I mean?
Aye, we'll see like my pals and even Fiona and all that, they kind of speak about that a lot and say, like, nobody even talks about things like that anymore, and or not heard of that lassie for years, not heard of that guy for years, and that's my memories. But
obviously, like, because you are progressing and all that sort of stuff, home leaving stuff like that is something that's within touching distance for you. Are you like, how are you feeling about going out and going back to your ma's house and seeing your girlfriends and stuff like that?
I'm really looking forward to it. It's like a massive thing, do you know what I mean? But I remember I went out, my dad went and was no well, and I went out to see him a few years ago, and I went out at my ma's house, and I just didn't feel like as if that was my home, you know what I mean? I didn't feel that at all. I know it's mad saying it, but it just didn't feel, I don't know. And then I was saying to my Mary, asked me I need to go home now, and I could see her getting all upset, do you know what I mean? She's kind of, this is your home, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, and I just didn't, I don't know, it wasn't what I remembered. It was all different, the whole house was different, seemed a lot weird and things like that. I think the biggest shock was when I went out to my granny's funeral. I hadn't seen a lot of people, do you know what I mean? So when I went out, it was a pure, it's the biggest shock I've had, and it was like a shock to the system. I couldn't believe everybody was all like the size of people and how people were aged. It was like just getting plucked out of a decade and just getting put in later on, and it was it fried my head, man. I was for a wee while I couldn't get round it. I couldn't get my head round it. Do you know what I mean?
When you're liberated, what family support will you have, Stuart? Will you have enough?
I've got family, you know what I mean? And I'm going to about my licence, and mental health is part of my licence. So it's meant to be in place. I don't know, I've not seen what they've got yet. But I've got family, my wee sister, my mum's there, you know what I mean? So I've got all them, but I'm not wanting to go back. I want to move away, start afresh, and get my life sorted out now.
Will you get a chance to move away and start afresh?
Aye. I'm trying to get it sorted now. I mean, but whether I can stay out of trouble is another thing.
My wee lad, he's 15, he's at private school, he's doing really well. So he's got all his exams coming up, bank, and me just coming out of prison and try to see him once a week when he's gone through all that could maybe start fucking things up for him. So I would either wait until I was out and I knew that my life was going alright and I was stable before I start getting like introducing myself into their lives, because I've been out their lives that long. I don't think it's fair that I go out and maybe stress my wee lad out or fuck his education up and stuff like that.
How have you found it in here? Has it been tough? Just the day-to-day living. Do you know, I'm not talking about being away from your partner and your daughter, just the actual day-to-day life.
No, well, that's been easy. It's been obviously harder for my girlfriend and my family. I mean, they've got out there struggling with money and, you know what I mean, and I'm in here getting everything free. It's obviously not a good thing still, but they're out there, they've got more worries. I mean, she's up with the rain, 5 o'clock in the morning, every morning, herself, I don't know how she's coping and that. So I know what I'm in for when I get out.
Are you punishing yourself?
If you want to put it down to I am punishing myself, aye.
What are you punishing yourself for?
I blame myself for my wee brother.
See, when you cut, Stuart, did you get up in the morning and think, I'm going to self-harm today, or is it spur of the moment, spontaneous?
Well, sometimes I'm walking about with my pals in the hall and I've got the thing and I just put my hand up my top and just sit and cut away. And then I disappear.
Stuart, do you mind showing us your scars?
It helps. Open myself right up. I'm not doing it for attention. I'm doing it for myself, to get myself released. Obviously I want help, so the logic why you would be doing it would be telling staff I've done it. But I don't, I just lie there.
Sounds like you really are punishing yourself, aren't you?
I'll go to counselling, as I say, and try to get the help for all the shit that's happening in my head, because there's a lot of it, you know what I mean? But one of the things he says to us is like, what would you say? Like, obviously you've been stabbed when you were younger. He says, what would you do if you seen these boys in the street? And I says, well, I've obviously had something to say about it, you know what I mean? And he's like, why? And I don't know, what do you mean, why? They be stabbed us, you know what I mean? And he says, well, do you not believe in karma? I says, aye, that is karma. He says, well, what are they boys doing now? And I says, well, they're probably just jumping about, stabbing people, doing the same shit. He says, what are you doing now? I says, well, I'm studying for my maths hires, I've got plans to go to university and that. He says, and do you think they boys will ever do that? I says, no. He says, well, why don't you use that as your karma? You know what I mean? Just kind of, and leave that, because you going back to them is not going to prove nothing or get, you know what I mean, resolve anything, you know what I mean? So when he says that to me, I kind of looked at it on a different light, you know what I mean? And he's right, like, maybe if they boys never stabbed us, you know what I mean, I wouldn't have had this head on, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have had a wise head on, like, want to change. I would probably been doing the same as them, jumping about the streets, you know what I mean? But, so, if anything, man, you know what I mean, I'm no, the way I look at it now, like, I'm not raging or nothing, I've not got any hate towards the guys or nothing, you know what I mean? It's like, they done what everybody was doing back in the day, you know what I mean? So it's like, I've no hate for them, you know what I mean? If anything, I've got thanks to them, you know what I mean? It's like, they've helped me change my life, turn my life around, so, you know what I mean?
I've carried a blade, I've stabbed people, thankfully they're still alive. I used to treat a blade like American Express card when they leave home with it. And I always thought I was impressing people. Like, oh, check the big blade I've got, look the big dagger I've got. See, I punch you, then I didn't know that I affected your family. It affected if you went to a nurse, you went to a doctor. All of them that I didn't realise they were victims of a crime as well, you know.
It's so weird you're saying that, because I can't admit, I mean, I can because we've got to know you and you've told us about stuff and all that, right? But just because of the person that I know, like it's pure weird you saying that kind of a thing, do you know what I mean?
Well, it's night and day for the way I used to be, honestly, night and day. Less madness going on in my head, more focused. I feel I've got the ability to be a better person, and just when you're about guys like yous and that brings it out in you. Look at what I've got, that's my view for carrying knives, wanting to be a big man, wanting to be a hard man. I've got the scars, I've got multiple scars all over my body, and it doesn't make any a bigger man. So I would want people to take stock of what they're thinking about and take stock of what they're going to do. Be the captain of their own ship. Try and live life and don't carry knives, man. It's a waste.